Hi, guys. Another beautiful day in the beautiful life. I hope you're having a amazing day. I hope you're taking care of yourself because you're the most important investment. Yeah. I don't know. What's new? Anything new in the life? Anything exciting? Even if it's not exciting. I honestly have been called to stay in place, to be still, to sit with myself. It's really, I want to say, what is the word I'm trying to say right now? Yeah, the world has you running and chasing and forcing and wanting and needing so many things. And, it keeps your attention fixated on getting those things. And for me personally, I'm being called to do the opposite. I'm being called to sit with myself, to sit in silence, to just do a lot of like inner work, inner like healing, inner like purification. And you can't do that when you're running around like a head, a head, a chicken without a head. Is that the saying? A headless chicken. You can't do that when you're running around in the world and chasing and grabbing and striving and trying to survive. So yeah, like normally I am pulled to action, but this time around in this particular time of my life, I am being called to sit still. Yeah, which I don't know, seems counterproductive. But think about it. I mean, when you are being fragmented into so many different arenas of life and you're not taking the proper time to sit with yourself in silence and in stillness, how do you find your balance point? How do you find your center? How do you ground yourself? How do you really like give yourself the time to assess like what are essentials and what are non-essentials, and then even have that time to like start purging or start like integrating or transmuting things. You can't. If you're constantly going, doing, you can't do that. And it's funny. I think we've been socially conditioned to some degree to just like chase after the next best thing. And it's called self improvement, right? Like, oh, in order to improve myself, I need to go to the gym, I need to go running. And I'm not against these things, but some people are fanatical, and they're like, I need to improve myself. I need to keep like I don't know, acquiring more things. I need to keep striving towards like more stuff. And is sometimes that's so counterproductive, like sitting still with yourself, which most people cannot do. I've seen it. Like their minds are just so frantic and frenetic and that they don't know how to just sit still. It's very, 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 in fact, I want to say the most uncomfortable thing for most people nowadays is to sit still, to be in silence. That's why like they always have to like be watching videos or be like eating food, and they've glamorized these things, like, oh yeah, mukbangs, and like I'm a foodie, and people are proud of that. I'm so proud of like being able to like eat all foods as much as I can. And I'm just like, wow, this is pretty distorted. Yeah, no judgment, but like seriously, like when anything is done in excess without any like self-control, like it's kind of like detrimental to your well-being. Could be physical, could be emotional, could be mental, could be spiritual. And yeah, like I said, I think stillness and silence are essential for wellness, for balance. Um, Also, another thing that's coming to the forefront of my mind, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over again in my videos so that, repetition is key, right? Like whenever you go and exercise and you work a particular muscle, you need to repetitively, do that movement in order to make that muscle stronger. And this is the same thing, on a mental note. Safeguard your energy, safeguard your peace, safeguard your time, safeguard your happiness, safeguard your resources. And yeah, like it's not something that should be freely given away. I've learned this as I've gotten older. You know, sometimes, you know, especially when you're still kind of like healing from trauma, you have a tendency to have knee-jerk reactions to like help or save people. No, those people need to do their own work. The same way you're doing your work. You know, there's a reason why you are who you are today and you know what you know. It's because you've done the work. So, you know, like you can't let people ride off your coattails. You can't have people destiny swapping, you know. You can't have people like throwing their karma or their emotional baggage onto you. That's not yours to carry, that's theirs. You know, hold people accountable. That's what where I'm at right now, holding people accountable. You know, if you don't know how to regulate yourself emotionally, if you're not like trying to become more emotionally mature or um, intelligent, that's not on me. That's on you. You know, like I'm sorry that you are not happy with yourself, but that is also not my responsibility. That is yours. I will hold you accountable and responsible for that. You know, that has nothing to do with me. Like all these projections, no, thank you. Yeah, it's straight up, no, thank you. And pivoting and changing direction. Yeah. Yeah, so important to safeguard yourself, guys, because nobody else is going to do it for you. For me personally, I think you can relate to this. As much as I like social interaction, which is, you know, kind of like breaks out of character of like an INFJ personality type, I've learned to like people. Because you know what is funny? This channel first started off talking about personality types, like, you know, INFJs. And what I did with that schematic is I actually looked at more so, I looked at the weaknesses of the INFJ personality type so that I could strengthen them. I didn't like look at like our strengths and gloat about it. I kind of like, you know, I took note of the strengths, but I immediately went towards the weaknesses so that I could strengthen those aspects of myself. And yeah, we don't like small talk. Well, guess what? That's like an aversion to something, right? I don't want to be at war with anything. So I just kind of like not settled, but I did learn to like engage to some degree. I do engage in small talk, and to some degree, I do like it. You know, I'm not as averse to it as I used to be. As far as like being around people, being around crowds, um, I've strengthened the muscle so that, you know, I can be in crowds and I won't be like so like sensitive to it to the point where I've lost like a sense of control or I've lost my centeredness and balance point. You know, I've learned to like, okay, I'm in a crowd. I'm not going to let these people's energies affect me. I'm just going to like hold my center point, ground myself, balance myself. I mean, I also do regulate like how much time I spend in such situations, you know. So if I get to a point where I want to leave, I just leave. But it's not like that kind of like aversion. You know how like people are like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. Do you realize that you are like, these are like blind spots or shadow aspects of yourself that you need to sit with? That's why it makes you uncomfortable, right? It makes you uncomfortable. And in a lot of my videos, I say get comfortable being uncomfortable. So whenever you feel a trigger or a shadow aspect comes up and it gives you this like knee jerk reaction to be like averse to it, like take a look at that and go, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing this? I mean, use common sense. There's certain situations, certain people that you absolutely have to like dismiss straight away. You know, for me personally, like I've noticed how precious my energy is, you know, and I'm not going to give it away freely anymore. You know, people need to earn the right and privilege to be in my presence. And I'm not trying to sound condescending. It's just I've tried for most of my life to help people who are downtrodden, and they've absolutely like taken my energy improve their lives, and then just threw me to the side of the road, after they joined me. And then I had to take time to sit in stillness and silence to replenish my energy, my energy bank. And then it took me, I mean, we're humans, we learn through experiences, but it took me several times to realize, like, okay, this is the dynamic that's happening. And now I have to realize that no more freebies, no more like giving my energy away to people so that they can improve their lives, and then it's not reciprocated and they just kind of like kick me to the curb while they're winning. Yeah, I'm good. It's like, no, I'm good. No, you need to do the work. I'm going to hold you accountable, and you may or may not have access to me anymore because you need to elevate yourself. We want to like engage with people who are also doing the inner work. We want to engage with people who are also like finding their balance point, and we want to engage with people who are you know I don't know, like they're well versed with the energy signature that they emit, and they're not draining. They're elevate. You wanna engage with people who elevate, because you elevate. You're not here to, like, for instance, this is the analogy I have. Like, say that this body, we've heard this before, is your temple. It's your house. It houses your spirit. It houses your heart. It houses your soul. It is your sole responsibility to safeguard your home and all the treasures that you hold inside. Treasures, aka happiness, aka peace, aka joy, aka grace, wisdom, yeah, all of the good things. It is your sole responsibility to protect this. And I think when I was younger, because I could feel everybody's energy and motion so vividly, and I didn't have somebody to tell me, like, oh yeah, you can feel other people's energies, but they're not necessarily yours. It's just you've you have the ability to peer in to the emotional um, universe of another person, but that's not yours. You're just able to do that so you can understand like how they're feeling, like literally energetically walk in someone else's shoes so that you can understand and empathize. But that doesn't mean you save them. You In fact, if somebody had told me that, I think life would have been so much simpler. But this is something I had to learn through firsthand experience. And it's not my job to save people. It's not my job to piggyback people, to a higher level of consciousness. It's my, I want to say, role to create containers for them to exist until they choose to do the inner work to elevate themselves, you know? And man, containers are few and far and in between. Like, there's people are so like self-involved and like so like self-interested that they don't have time to be creating a container for someone else, or creating a window of time in order to like allow someone to be who they are. No, they're just interested in like, they're very self-interested, you know. I've always been the opposite, and that worked against me because, again, if you have a lack of discernment, a lack of boundaries, and then you let a thief into your house, and you're not safeguarding it, they can like run havoc and chaos in your temple, and you just let them go. That's why access revoked to people who haven't done the inner work. Access revoked to people who are on lower like states of consciousness. This isn't even like a power trip thing. It's safeguarding yourself. You're precious, you are much needed, and if you can't depend on anyone else to safeguard. I'm not saying have trust issues, absolutely not. Like, if you are really attuned to feeling other people's energies, it's very clear. Like, when people come to you, they show you who they are. Like, instead of like gaslighting yourself into like, oh, I see their potential. And I've talked about this in my previous videos. Yeah, you can see their potential, but where are they at now? Realistically, where are they at now? And if they are at a low vibrational frequency and they are not trying to, they don't see a problem in that and they're not trying to improve themselves, it's not your responsibility to go in there and meddle. You know, it's your responsibility to acknowledge it, to be aware of it, to accept them as they are, and keep it pushing if you know that they are going to cause more destruction. If they're going to take away from your peace, if they're going to take away from your joy, if they're going to take away from, you know, your balance point, that's a hard no. Like, not even thinking about it. It's just like, okay, no, thank you. No, thank you, just like that. You know? Yeah, we need to be more aware of these things. It's so important. And they don't talk about it. Like I mean, growing up in the educational system around my family, socially, nobody has openly talked about these things, about the energetic exchange and the energetic, raising your vibration, keeping your center point, staying aligned with the most high. Nobody has really, I mean, they have in like really like roundabout ways, like if you go to church, and I've been to like all kinds of different churches because, the family and friends that I grew up with, they all had different like denominations, like, and which was cool for me because I got to peer into all these different like types of like religious beliefs and stuff. But I never really like stuck to one because they just seemed like half truths to me. They didn't seem like the whole truth. It's like a half truth. Like people can tell you half truths, which is kind of like a lie because they're not being super transparent and real. They're just giving you enough to sucker you in so that they can dictate your reality and your perception and the role that you would play in their life so that they can manifest off of your energy and like, I don't know, like succubuses and fucking entities and um, disguised as opportunists and narcissists. All those people have like attachments, honestly. Let's be honest. They have fucking attachments. They're at such a low vibrational frequency. They don't know their own power. And so they give their power away freely. They're like open to like entities and yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go, but I hope you safeguard your energy, guys. It's so important. Your body is your temple. You have all these treasures inside, and you need to safeguard it. Only those who have, I want to say, earned the right to enter can enter. And this is totally a different can of worms, but especially you women, safeguard your energy from opportunists, opportunistic men or women. You have potent creative energy, that not that shouldn't be accessed by too many people. And honestly, that's why I spend a lot of time by myself. It's just like I don't have time to be dealing with all the everyone else's BS. You're gonna come to me true. you know. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go. Thank you for stopping by. If you learned something from the video, cool. If you didn't, that's cool too. Blessings to one and all. Amen.